The first month of raising chicks is probably the most eventful. Chickens grow incredibly fast, and before you know it, they'll be all feathered. Let me tell you about our journey in the first month of owning chicks. First things first, we had to get the chicks, so we went to our local Tractor Supply in spring and picked out our own personal half dozen. And we got the supplies we needed to get things going. For one, we got us a cage, a heat lamp, something to prop up that heat lamp, which for us was a portion of our wedding arch. This is a no-judge space. We accept homesteads made out of whatever you have on hand. I think a lot of us jump into homesteading as a means of surviving poverty, and that's definitely a factor in our decisions as well. We got pine shavings to put in that cage, and a feeder and a waterer. Then of course, chick feed to put in said feeder. Now, if you didn't know, I'll tell you now, you must get chick feed. If you get food meant for adult chickens, they could choke on it and unfortunately die. That is something you should be hyper aware of with chicks. They are apparently notorious for not being good at, well, not dying. Just a forewarning. Now we have our supplies and our chicks and we set them up. There's something about chicks that is so mesmerizing. They are so cute with their little cheeping and their little actions. When they are little, they seem to go in a very quick cycle of wandering around, eating, drinking, pooping, cleaning themselves, sleeping, repeat. They do get pretty good sleep at night, however. Even with the heat lamp, they seem to know when it was legitimate nighttime and slept through it pretty well. Now, speaking of the heat lamp, it's important to make sure that it's not too hot or too cold. Too hot and they won't go under it, get too cold and die. Too cold and they will try to only stay under it and eventually the same. You want to make sure they can comfortably stay under it, but also seem content to go out from under it. If you have the money for it, we borrowed the heat lamp for free, so it wasn't something we sprung for. But brooders that are down to the ground are often said to be better option as they aren't as much as a fire hazard and are a better mimic to a mama hen's chick warming ability. Or even better, later on in your journey, you could get a broody hen to take on the chick raising duty. But use what you can. We watched our chicks closely and all was well, except that we did have one case of poopy butt. Yes, that is a term you will hear a lot, and it is unfortunately a real thing. Me and my husband kept a close eye on it and saved the chick. She lost a few fluffy feathers, but we got the dried out poop plug off of her and didn't have many issues after that. See, chickens are the cleanest creatures and their own poop can get stuck in the fluffiness of their butt. If left untreated, they can't pass bowel movements and can die. Yeah, seriously die from the inability to poop. I told you, they are delicate. We were lucky enough that none of our chickens died during their chick phase. Oh, and we gave them all names. We each named one Wyandotte and one Golden Comet since we had 6 in total and 3 family members. I named mine Dandelion and Nugget. My husband named his Pickles and Mustard. And our daughter named hers Dino and Sue. Each chick had slight variations and we kept track of their daily changes to remember who was who. Especially as their feathers came in. Their feathers came in so quickly. Each day they would have new feathers, first their wing feathers, then tail feathers, then some here and some there, and suddenly they were covered in feathers. The stage in between having all feathers and having fuzz is like an awkward teen stage, and they looked like an absolute mess. They also got big so quickly. Chicks that took up a tiny corner of their cage took up a quarter of the cage, then half of the cage in no time. We also went from cleaning their water every couple days to every day to multiple times a day. Their feeding ramped up quickly and their cage had to be cleaned more and more as they grew too. When they started taking dirt baths in their cage, we knew it was time. They had gotten too big for the cage and it was time to move out. It came quickly. Chicks must be at least 3 to 4 weeks old, and our chicks were 4 weeks at this point. But more importantly, the weather had to be good, and as it was May in southern Georgia, we had that covered. We get hot fast around here. So it was safe and for the best interest of the chickens to move them outside. You can buy or build a coop, and we were lucky enough that my dad offered to make us a chicken coop out of my daughter's old playhouse and some supplies he had hanging around, as well as a few that he picked up as well. And he made this. I know, pretty impressive. A chicken coop with a small run, all enclosed with 2 doorways in. Then it was time to bring all the chickens into their new home, and they loved it right away. They went right to pecking all around and stretching their wings. These chicks were so happy, they loved it. They did very good their first night, and the rest was history. They are outside birdies now. After they had several days in their coop to know it was their home, their safe zone, we let them out to free range with our supervision, and that too went great. They mostly stuck together, went back to the coop if they were startled, and had the time of their lives roaming around. There you have it. The first month of having chicks was so very eventful. It was fun and hectic, and we will definitely do it again one day, as chicken math has already had me and my husband discussing all the different kinds of chickens we want. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, consider subscribing, as I plan to share more of our journey with our chickens and our journey into homesteading. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again.